Are you pouring your heart into a relationship, wondering if your avoidant partner even notices? Do you feel like you're giving everything time, love, effort, but getting silence in return? You're not alone, and it's not your fault. Hi, I'm Jim Rohn, a practicing therapist and doctoral student in psychology, and today I'm pulling back the curtain on a question that haunts so many. How do you know if an avoidant is truly grateful to have you in their life? This isn't just about decoding their guarded heart. It's about recognizing the subtle signs that show they value you deeply, even if they don't say it out loud. In this video, I'll reveal the surprising ways avoidants express gratitude, from small gestures you might overlook to actions that scream they trust you. You'll learn why their silence isn't rejection, but a reflection of their inner world shaped by years of holding back. I'll share insights from my work with couples, like the moment an avoidant insisted I am grateful while his partner felt unseen, and how they bridged that gap. You'll discover the exact behaviors that signal an avoidant sees you as their safe haven, and how to spot them in your own relationship. Imagine finally understanding that their quiet texts or shared moments aren't random. They're proof you matter. Whether you're with a dismissive or fearful avoidant, or just curious about their hidden emotions, this video will change how you see your connection. Stick around for the one sign that's a game changer. It's not what you expect, and it's coming up later. If you're ready to stop guessing and start seeing their gratitude, hit that subscribe button now and join me as we uncover the truth about avoidance. Don't miss this. It could transform how you navigate your relationship. Let's dive in. Picture this. You're in a relationship and it feels like you're doing all the heavy lifting. You're showing up, planning dates, being open with your feelings. But your partner, a dismissive avoidant maybe, or a fearful one, leaning dismissive, seems to hold back. They don't say thank you the way you want, don't tell you they're lucky to have you, and it stings. This came up in a session I had with a couple recently. The woman, anxious and preoccupied, was pouring her heart out, saying, "I do so much, and I don't think he's grateful. I don't feel appreciated." Her partner, a dismissive avoidant, looked at her almost surprised and said, "No, I am grateful. I just show it differently." That moment hit me hard because it's so common. Avoidants aren't cold. They're wired differently, shaped by a past where opening up meant risking judgment or rejection. As a therapist working with avoidants mostly dismissive, some fearful, I see this in romantic relationships, with families, even in friendships. They act one way with their partner, another with their parents, but the thread is the same. Gratitude exists, but it's quiet, subtle, easy to miss if you don't know where to look. Understanding this dynamic isn't just about easing your frustration. It's about seeing their gratitude for what it is and building a bridge to a deeper connection. You're not crazy for wanting more, but you're also not powerless. Let's unpack how avoidants show they're grateful, because when you see it, it changes everything. First, they share positive news with you, and they do it with a spark of excitement. Imagine your partner gets a promotion at work. Instead of keeping it to themselves, they text you, "Got the promotion." Maybe they even throw in a few exclamation points, which for an avoidant is like shouting from the rooftops. This matters because avoidants aren't expressive by nature. They've learned to keep their emotions locked down, often because they grew up in a world where excitement was dismissed. Maybe their parents said, "What's the big deal?" That's what you're supposed to do. So when they share something good with you, it's not casual. It's a sign they trust you. They feel safe enough to let you see their joy, knowing you won't judge or minimize it. That's gratitude, raw and real. They're not just sharing news. They're sharing a piece of themselves, saying, "You matter to me. I want you to know this." If you're getting those texts, those little bursts of excitement, don't brush them off. They're proof you're a safe haven in their world, and that's no small thing. Then there's the way they express appreciation. It's not going to be a Hallmark card or a tearful speech about how lucky they are. Avoidants show gratitude in specific, grounded ways. Maybe you cook breakfast and they say, "Thanks, this is good," or "I love your pancakes." Maybe they notice something deeper, like, "You're so smart at your job," or "I appreciate how you always know what to say." These aren't just compliments. They're their way of saying you add value to their life. Avoidants are practical, especially dismissive ones. They notice tangible things, your skills, your intelligence, the way you make their world better. When they point these out, they're showing gratitude for how you fit into their life, how you make it richer. It's not flowery, but it's sincere. They're saying, "I see you, and I'm glad you're here." If you're waiting for them to say, "You're the best thing that ever happened to me," you might be disappointed. But those small, specific acknowledgements, they're gold. They're the avoidance way of saying you're irreplaceable. Another sign is that they make time for you. Avoidants, especially dismissive ones, love their independence. Their lives are often packed work, hobbies, projects, because staying busy keeps them safe from the vulnerability of connection. But when they carve out time for you, when they call, text, or show up, that's gratitude in action. They're choosing you over their instinct to retreat. They're saying, "You're worth my time, my energy." This is huge because for an avoidant, time is a currency they don't spend lightly. They value stability, and your consistent presence in their life is something they lean on even if they don't say it. They know you're not going to abandon them, and that certainty makes them grateful. So when they text you just to check in, or they make time for a dinner date despite their hectic schedule, don't overlook it. It's their way of saying, "I'm glad you're here and I'm showing it by being here too." Then there's the photos they send, random snapshots of their life, like a new pool table in their basement or a sunset they saw on a walk. This might seem small, but for an avoidant, it's a big deal. They're letting you into their world, sharing something they're excited about without fear of judgment. Dismissive avoidants in particular crave stability, and sending you a photo says, "I feel safe with you. I want you to see this part of me." Fearful avoidants might do this too, though they're more cautious, sometimes wrestling with the fear that stability itself could trap them. But when they send that picture, it's gratitude. They're excited and they want you to share in it. They're saying, "You're part of my life, and I'm happy about that." It's not a grand gesture, but it's a window into their heart. And for an avoidant, that's a profound act of trust. Sometimes they'll just come out and say it, "I'm grateful for you." This is rare because avoidants struggle to articulate emotions, but when it happens, it's powerful. If your partner hasn't said it, don't be afraid to ask directly, "Are you grateful I'm in your life?" Most avoidants, when asked point blank, will answer honestly. They might say, "Yeah, I am," or even explain how they show it. That question isn't pushy, it's an invitation for them to reflect, to put words to what they feel. And when they do, it's a clear sign they value you. They're not hiding their gratitude, they just need a nudge to express it. That moment of honesty can shift how you see the relationship, because it confirms what their actions have been saying all along: you matter to them deeply. Finally, one of the strongest signs is when they make an effort to change. Avoidants don't change easily. It's against their nature to shift their patterns because those patterns keep them safe. But when you make a change, like texting less during their workday to respect their space, they notice, and often they'll reciprocate. Maybe you've asked them to open up more and they start sharing a bit about their day. Maybe you've wanted them to plan dates and they start suggesting outings. For fearful avoidants, this might come from guilt. They feel they don't deserve your effort and want to balance the scales. For dismissive avoidants, it's about safety. Your change shows them it's okay to take risks to meet you halfway without losing themselves. Either way, their effort to change is gratitude in action. They're saying, "I see what you're doing for me, And I'm trying too. That's not just appreciation, it's a commitment to the relationship, a sign they're invested in you. Now, why is this so hard for them? Why don't avoidants just say, I'm so grateful for you? It's not because they don't feel it. It's because their world is shaped by a deep-seated fear of vulnerability. Growing up, many avoidants learned that emotions are risky. Maybe their caregivers dismissed their excitement, saying, calm down, it's not a big deal. Maybe they were judged for showing too much or neglected when they needed support. So they built walls not to keep people out, but to keep themselves safe. Gratitude for an avoidant isn't just a feeling, it's an admission of need of dependence, and that's terrifying. They struggle to recognize the value of relationships until they're deep in, because relationships feel like a gamble. They're afraid of being a burden, of being judged, of losing the independence that's kept them secure. So their gratitude stays quiet, expressed in actions rather than words, because words feel too exposed. This doesn't mean they don't care, it means their care is filtered through a lens of caution. Dismissive avoidants in particular value stability, but fear being controlled, so they show gratitude in ways that don't compromise their autonomy, like sharing a photo or making time for you. Fearful avoidants, on the other hand, might wrestle with both wanting stability and fearing it, so their gratitude can feel inconsistent. They might pull back even as they're reaching out, afraid of getting too close. Understanding this helps you see their actions for what they are not. Indifference, but a careful, guarded way of saying, I'm glad you're here. It's not about you failing to earn their appreciation. It's about their struggle to let it show. When you get this, you stop taking their silence personally and start seeing the subtle ways they're trying to connect. So how do you help an avoidant see their own gratitude? You don't push or demand, you invite. One way is to reflect on your relationship together, gently nudging them to notice its value. Try saying, I'm proud of how far we've come. We've been through a lot and we're still here. What do you think? Or maybe, my friend just ended her 2-year relationship and it made me realize how strong we are. 5 years is something to be proud of, right? These aren't accusations, they're invitations to reflect. Avoidants often don't pause to consider the relationship's worth because they're so focused on protecting themselves. But when you frame it as a shared achievement, you help them see what they might miss. They start to recognize the stability, the trust, the connection you've built together. And that can spark them to express their gratitude more openly, not because you forced it, but because they're starting to see it themselves. Another approach is to model gratitude yourself. Say, I'm really grateful for you for how you always make time for me even when you're busy. This does 2 things. It shows them it's safe to express appreciation, and it highlights their efforts in a way they might not notice. Avoidants often don't realize how much their small actions mean, so pointing them out without pressure helps them see their own gratitude. Over time, they'll start to mirror this, maybe saying thank you more, or acknowledging your efforts in return. It's not about changing them, it's about creating a space where they feel safe to be open. When you do this, you're not just waiting for their gratitude, you're helping it grow bit by bit. Here's the truth. Avoidants are grateful for you, but their gratitude doesn't look like everyone else's. It's in the text they send about their promotion, the quiet thank you for dinner, the time they make for you despite their packed schedule. It's in the photos they share, the rare moments they say, I'm glad you're here, and the changes they make because you've shown them it's safe. These signs are subtle, but they're profound, because they come from a place of trust, a trust that's hard-won for an avoidant. Understanding this changes how you see your relationship. You stop feeling like you're begging for scraps, and start seeing the ways they're already giving you their heart. It's not easy, and it takes patience. But when you recognize these signs, you realize you're not invisible to them. You're valued deeply in their own quiet way. So keep showing up, keep seeing them, and keep building that trust. The connection you're seeking is there, and it's worth the effort. If this resonates, hit subscribe and let's keep exploring how to make relationships work one step at a time.